Social media is such a weird, tragic phenomenon, and it has completely and utterly destroyed my self esteem and my sanity and my view of the world at large. I've always heard of the concept of celebrities versus special people, but I never really cared because it's like, oh, well, somebody's celebrated for being entertaining or for being a pop artist, whatever. I never could have dreamed that as I got older that it would be such a dystopia, that it would be you will be watching special people through your phone not only be loved and cared about more than you will ever imagine your whole life for some innate quality that they have that they were just born with that you can never have, but they will also be able to have kids and a life and a family, and they will have community and people that care about them, and you will be struggling for the rest of your life to the point of mental insanity. I do completely recognize at this point that unless you're special, and I hate that term so much, but that is what it is, that you will never have kids and you shouldn't have kids. And I don't have the desire to live anymore at all because I wanted to have a family, and there's no logical way for someone as unspecial as me to ever have a family. It's just truth. And social media reminds me of that of every day. And at the same time, my lonely, crazy brain sees social media and thinks, wow, look at all these people on all these apps. There must be someone that I can connect with and have a sense of community with and talk to. I've been crying all day today because of how awful social media is, and even more because it's all that I have. And it drives me absolutely insane. I don't know what social media is, but it's not community. It's not connection. It's the opposite. It's just a mirror of how sick society is, and that nobody cares about your personal tragedy, even if it's so bad to the point where life has literally become intolerable. And I don't know how to be special. And I don't know how to get the resources to have a happy life. And I never have. And I've always been at the absolute rock bottom of life and beyond. And even though there's a lot of somewhat mental health support groups, a little bit, they're full of assholes. And they're full of people telling you that you're not special and that you don't deserve to have a family or a life or to afford anything or to even have a house because you're not special to get the resources. And I don't know about anybody else, but I absolutely despise everything about myself these days. I despise my imagination. I despise my creative projects. I despise the way that I think. I despise the way I prefer to spend my time. Because none of it leads to being a genius, to being a special person, to being someone that can have the money to afford a family so that I don't owe myself by the time I'm 40 from sitting around in an empty house or having to deal with brainwashed, boring, sociopathic idiots that read by a script every single day so that they can keep their stupid cuck job. I never thought it would be this bad. I was always okay with the idea of people being superior to me. I didn't know that it would mean that I would be homeless, that I would be talked to like I'm a useless, worthless robot for the rest of my life by other mindless drones in some sort of hot office or fast food service somewhere. I didn't know that it would mean that I would be undignified for the rest of my life, working cashier jobs, being accepted and despised by everyone, everywhere I go, being told that I'm not interesting, that nobody wants to know me, that nobody cares about me, and that my whole life is trash and that I don't deserve to feel like I deserve respect. I didn't know that it was going to mean that I would have no humanity in my life at all. And I would be forced, literally forced, to hear about celebrities, to hear about influencers, and try as I might, I'm completely myself. I post authentically, I create authentically, and all I've learned is that nobody gives a shit and that it's not special, that I'm just a clone, as people call it, of every stereotype that's come before me. And I'm abused every day by people that tell me, you have to sing better, you have to be more interesting, you have to present yourself. And I don't want to do any of that shit. I just want to paint and write my novels and get them published and have babies, and none of that is possible because society does not care about people like that. It cares about a specific mold. A mold that is so specific that I don't think that the people that fit the mold even understand what the mold is. They just know that they're in it. And I fucking hate everyone, and everyone hates me. And my mental health is nothing but black fog of intertangled, traumatized confusion about what's real and what's not, and about why so many people are told that they're trash at every possible turn in American culture, just for doing what a society that they didn't even make. And I remember that when I was growing up, when I was bullied and traumatized in school, I didn't have social media back then. There was no venting, there was no online communities, there was no trashy jokes to get your mind off of things. It was just you and the raw grief and the raw fucking trauma. And the only thing I've learned through social media is that truly nobody gives a shit. But they give a shit about the trashy influencer that slobbers on front of the camera and brings people down. And they care about when they're going through trauma, and they care about when the Queen of England gets cancer. But they don't care about most people. And if they actually will actively abuse you and say, you have nothing to offer, and what you do, nobody cares. And it's worked. I despise everything about myself. I have no future. I have no discernible past. And I don't know how to be the person that's deserving of money and love, even on just an average way. I don't think, as people say, that I have it in me. And I'm done.